So today I'm going to start with my recipe for whipped shea butter, and I've already started. So in there's about 4 ounces of shea butter, about 3 ounces of coconut oil. You can use organic or plain, regular coconut oil, and then about a tablespoon of jojoba oil, and a tablespoon of vitamin E oil, and then I used about an ounce of cocoa butter pellets, and it kind of looks like this. So that's typically what I use as my base for my shea butter. So now we're going to go over to my makeshift double boiler, and I'm going to melt the butters. So now we're at the stove, and all of my butters are in like a large kind of heavy duty glass container, and it's kind of going to boil gently, and not boil, I'm sorry, it's going to melt. This allows the butters to melt gently, and once they are melted, we'll continue with the project. So as you can see, the butters are still melting. I want them to melt gently, so I mix it every now and then. And sometimes what you can do is break up these little pieces, and it kind of allows it to melt a little bit faster. Now I won't add my essential oils. If you are adding any essential oils, you don't want to add it into the hot oil. You want to wait until it's cooled off a little bit. So as you can see, our butters are completely melted. So now typically what I will do is I will put this mixture in the freezer to cool down, because what happens is when you melt the butters, it gives it when you're whipping it, it gives it a really smooth texture. And so what I will do is put this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes to an hour to cool down, and then we will begin to whip the oils together. As you can see, our butters have melted. I'm sorry, have solidified, and now we are going to mix. Okay, so now we're back. We're going to now whip our cream. Okay, and even though it's solid, you want to whip it at about a 3, because you want it to turn into sort of like whipped cream consistency. So let's see if you can see the texture. Not quite yet, but we're getting there. I'm going to just get a spatula. I want to make sure all of those areas that aren't getting mixed are mixed. And I just turned the speed up so that we're getting the corners, the areas that aren't getting whipped yet. We're going to mix this for about 10 minutes or so until it becomes very creamy white. Alright, let's do a little check. And I'm going to scrape the edges. So as you can see, it's now whipped to a nice creamy texture. And so I'm just going to scrape the sides to make sure all of the shea mixture has been whipped. But if you look at that a little bit more closely, you can see the texture pretty soft. Okay, so I'm just gonna whip this for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're gonna put in our containers, okay? So our shea butter is nice and ready, and I really like the consistency of it and the texture. If you look at it, if you can see, I hope it looks pretty darn creamy. So I'm going to just scoop the mixture into this bag. I usually just use a little makeshift pipette bag so that I can kind of make it easy to go into a container. And I'm making this for a friend, so I want it to look nice and pretty. So I'm just cleaning off my whisk and take a look. Looks pretty good. I don't know if you can kind of see the texture a little bit easier, but I'm gonna kind of spoon it into here. That'll make it easier to go into my container. And I have a container right here, just a plastic container, and I have a small glass jar that I'm going to use. And I just cut the end of this bag here. I just cut the end so that it's easy to squeeze in. And I'll show you the finished product when I'm done.